Hello and welcome to the Thursday show on Our Game with myself, Carey. Richie Power will be here momentarily. Much like he was as a player, he'll arrive late to the square, to the breaking ball, but he'll be with us in a couple of minutes. The first 15 minutes is free, and then thereafter you have to go to patreon.com/OurGame. We'd love for you to sign up. It's only a £5 a month. What's that? A cup of coffee and a half a month to get all this GA goodness. Kieran, how are you? I think you might be muted, Kieran. Richie, how's it going?
Well, Bernie, how are you? Are you well?
Very good, very good. You back with us, Kieran?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear. Very good.
Good to see you, lads.
Good.
Well, Kieran, how are you?
Good now, Richie.
Good to be back again. Richie was just saying to Kieran off air, we had a couple of random enough questions in from some of the viewers, so I might just throw them over to you just to start with something a little different. Kieran, a question in from one of our viewers. Would you rather be the star of a bad team or an average player on a really good team?
Okay, I suppose we're thinking on our feet here, aren't we? Yeah, an average player in a fairly good, solid team would be my preference. But I suppose sports is different, and it can throw up anything at any given moment in time. And I suppose the real test is, are you ready and able with whatever is going to be confronted in front of you? Ideally, you'd love to be in a squad full of kind of committed players and average players, and that would be probably, your chances would be a lot more greater than of being successful.
Richie, same question for you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'd agree 100% with Kieran, Bernie. I suppose I'd much prefer to be an average team player and be successful than be a standout player. Because you've more of a chance of being successful in a team like that than you do in I suppose a team maybe of 1 or 2 stars.
Can I ask you on that, lads? Would your opinion on that have changed throughout your playing career? Would there be a bit more selfishness maybe when you start off, that you want to be, a big player, you want to play brilliant, that you're nearly not happier, but that you want to play, you'd be nearly happier to play brilliant in a game than necessarily win the game? Would there be any truth in that, Kieran, when you're a younger player maybe?
Yeah, but I suppose your mentality changes slightly as you mature, and I suppose deep within you there has to be a driven motivation that within yourself you want to fulfill your own potential, and if that's putting you up there then with the top 2 or top 3 or the top 1, so be it. But every player really who put on a jersey wants to be the best and their best version coming out in the field, and where that puts you in the pecking order, then you've no say in that.
Flash is coming straight in with some hard-hitting comments. He says Kilkenny are done, and then he follows it up with the Cats. The Cats are finished. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll just throw this one to you, Richie. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. I was watching a thing this morning with Tony Bellew and Wayne Rooney, and they were talking about angry managers. And I'm just wondering, he gave a story about Alex Ferguson and Roy Keane half squaring up to each other in a meeting that resulted in Roy Keane's absence from Man United thereafter. And I'm just wondering, have you ever been on the receiving end, or what's the angriest managerial moment you've ever seen, or have you ever delivered a couple of rockets as a manager?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Look, as a manager, if it needs to happen, you have to be. I suppose you have to be strong enough to deliver it. I suppose. Look, the only one that I can really remember, like I spoke about here, I think was it last week or the week before, was when myself and 2 of my teammates got called into a dressing room with Brian and Mick Dempsey and the lads. So I suppose that's the only one that I can remember, and that was more of a kind of a disciplinary kind of meeting than a team meeting. So, but no, I suppose, look, there is times where you kind of have to, I suppose, let fly or let loose a little bit. But other times you just have to be kind of calm and collected as well, to try and get the best out of players. So, there's no real incident that stands out for me, But there has been times, obviously, where there's been a bang on the table and a few hurls cracked, But apart from that, nothing major, nothing serious.
I think everyone would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that impromptu meeting, as we say. Kieran, same question for you. Anything particularly stand out? I'd say Tom Ryan wasn't a bad man to hide his emotions back in the day.
Yeah, but I think that's a soccer thing. I played soccer here local with a few clubs, and it's totally different in the dressing room with soccer versus the hurling. The manager tends to get very excited and throw a few Fs. But myself personally, yeah, I suppose for to get the best out of yourself as a player or a manager, you have to be emotionally whole on a day. But I suppose having the ability, then, as Richie said, I suppose, to be the lion-hearted lamb, having the ability to show both qualities when you need to do it. And, I think the days of breaking hurleys off the ground and shouldering the wall, I think those days are gone. It's down to composure now, and I suppose managing whatever needs to be managed at any given moment in time.
Just on that, Kieran, you mentioned soccer there. Would you have played much? Obviously, I think Keane had trials, didn't he? But one of the teams up in Dublin, I think Jack Byrne was on there not too long ago, saying he was a teammate of his. Would you have played much? And is that something that's in your family or in the genes?
I would have, Mike. I'd say from 19 even up to present moment, anytime the hurling was parked, I played soccer every year. And I suppose looking back at it, yeah, it has its advantages and disadvantages. I was playing it for a bit of fun, but when you're playing the soccer, you're coming with the same personality, so you're going to approach the game the same. And yeah, I probably, looking back at it, I thought probably it would have been good on your balance and your feet from your ankles down, hugely beneficial. I always played it. I always had a kind of love for it, and I suppose you can't say that too loud in the political area with the J. But I did. I really loved the game of soccer. Keane always played a bit, yeah, and all my brothers, we always played, the local team here, or else we'd play, but down with, I went down and played with Bresca down in Ballybrown. They were the one parish, so I kind of broke that mold, no one else did that. So yeah, I really loved the soccer, very committed to it when I was playing it. As I said, I brought the same head to the soccer field as I did to the hurling field. And, my time playing the soccer, very enjoyable.
Did that ever get you in a bit of trouble? Anytime you ever played a bit of five-a-side, the soccer lads who were all silky and whatever could never get over this bull in a china shop running through lads, which GA players are just kind of tunnel vision. They nearly go through you. Did you ever end up in a bit of a scuffle? I even ended up in a few, just because you're used to getting stuck in playing hurling or football. Yeah,
I'll tell you one good little story that actually came now when you asked the question. I think we were preparing for Tipperary, the quarter-final of the league. And I think it might have been back in 94 or 5 or 6. I don't know the year, but it was definitely one of those. And myself and Anthony Carey were playing here local, Patrickswell. And we were playing, I think it might have been a semi-final of a cup, and it clashed with the Tipperary and Limerick game. So Anthony says to me, what do we do, Kieran? I said, we'll tag out soccer tomorrow and we'll play the first half of the soccer. I said, we'll say nothing, but we'll keep it nice and quiet. So we played the first half. Half time came. Anthony said, well, come on, we'll belt away. It was then all. I said, no, we'll give it another 10 minutes. So within the next 10 minutes, Anthony Carey actually twisted his ankle, right?
Oh.
So we were heading down to the match. So we kind of come up with a plan. He said, what do I do? I said, whatever you do, in my own naivety now, as if to say that they were never going to hear this, but in my own naivety, I said to Anthony, whatever you do, I said, run out to the field normal, go through the warm-up, and let on you twisted your ankle, right? So Anthony came along and he played the game. He was called off after about 15, 20 minutes. We were training Monday night. Tom Ryan called us into the office. Anthony Carey never got a Limerick jersey again. And he kind of gave me a slap in the wrist and held on to me.
Jesus. It's amazing. I don't know if it had been another player, you might have just got a slap on the wrist now, Kieran. I'd say somehow.
No, but sure, even when you think of the madness of playing a soccer match the same morning of a National League game down against Tipperary. Madness. And I suppose I didn't want, I suppose my thinking at the time, I was young at the time, I said, I didn't want to leave the soccer boys down.
How did you hurl? Hey, Kieran, how did you hurl?
Sure, Richie, you know that answer yourself.
Good man. Jesus Cassie, that wouldn't even come on your radar now. You'd be on the phone straight away, be up on social media, and you'd be gone.
You hit it.
Good man. The last question there, and I throw it back to you, Kieran, first. Would you rather lose a championship final, lose an All-Ireland final, or would never have made it to a final? And I suppose it's applicable enough in your own career. One of the viewers just asked that question. Would you rather have never got to a final and lost it, or would you rather have got to a final and lost it, or never gotten there at all?
I would say get to a final and lose it, because you want to experience everything at the highest level in the game of the hurling. And the highest level in the inter-county hurling is getting to an All-Ireland final, and winning it is the big bonus. But at the time there were two tough pills to swallow, and but it was still great getting there. great experience, and it was great to be playing in Croke Park. So the obvious answer to that would be getting to a final and lose one, obviously.
They say it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. Richie, would you give the same answer, or?
Yeah, look, Mike, I'd say, like, as Kieran said there, and look, I know in his case it wasn't the case, but like the saying goes that you have to lose one to win one, so definitely I'd agree, like, definitely to get to the pinnacle is, I suppose that's the Everest of GA, and that's the Everest of hurling. So to get to the final, and obviously then to get over the line, obviously is the big thing. But definitely the whole build up, winning a semi-final, this, like, semi-final are nearly the hardest ones to lose, because you have everything to gain from them. So getting over the semi-final, then you have the elation of that, and then the build up to the final. Like, look, every player should encounter that or should experience that. Now, I know every player doesn't, but Kieran, it's no different to when Kieran played and when I played. The build up is everything. The buzz around the county, the buzz in training, everything is just it's a brilliant experience. So definitely get there. If you lose it, you lose it, but you just kind of have to I suppose, bag that hurt and try and make it back to the summit again.
Yeah, the experience of it all, just experiencing the euphoria around the semi-final, I'd imagine, and the build-up to the match and seeing how much it means to people, I'd imagine is huge. We just have a couple of comments in. Adrian McGrath's putting the boot into the 2E lads anyway, straight away. He just says, Richie and Kieran told us Clare were too reliant on Tony Kelly last week. I think the whole world said that, to be fair. 214 out of 321 v Tip, and 18 points out of 28 v Cork. 331 v Waterford, scored by the rest of the team. Any thoughts, lads? Richie, I'll throw that to you straight away.
I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. Yeah, I suppose, look, from a Clare perspective, absolutely, a brilliant performance. And I don't, I no problem saying that. I got it wrong. I thought Brian Lohan was definitely correct in what he done with John Conlon and Tony Kelly. But look, the rest of the players stood up, and certainly I don't see Clare having any issues or any problems going forward if the unfortunate thing happened that Tony or John picked up an injury. I think they have a panel there strong enough to push any team. And as I said, I have no problem holding my hands up and getting it wrong. It was a super performance.
In fairness to you, Richie, you were right. You said he mightn't even be in Cusack Park last week. Now, he was in Cusack Park, in fairness, but he wasn't in the 26. Kieran, it's a great sign for Clare to have done what they did without Tony Kelly and John Conlon, to score 331. Like, we kind of talked about keeping the momentum going and how Brian Lohan might want to keep the momentum going. That's why he might keep those players in. They must be on cloud 9 going into this Munster final, having done what they did last Sunday.
Yeah, but I suppose it gives you the importance of the result they got against Limerick and what kind of that effect it had on the whole squad. And, it's after bringing their whole confidence level to a total new level. Everybody sees Limerick as kind of unbeatable, and they were so close, they got the draw. So the momentum is absolutely huge with Clare at the moment. And no matter how big it is after Limerick, but it's twice as big after last week when Waterford are going down to their backyard. And, they can leave 6 off, bring on another 6, and all acquitted themselves extremely well. And I suppose the big one for me is Shane O'Donnell and Duggan, I suppose, what they're after bringing to the whole setup. And they've shown it again there last week. So, I suppose Brian Lohan and his backroom team, they're going to have a few headaches now for the Munster final. And I suppose in relation to Tony Kelly, if Clare are to progress and if Clare are to jump the fence against Limerick, Tony Kelly, I'm afraid, will have to repeat the exact same thing that he did in Cusack Park.
Richie, it's easy to get caught up in, maybe how bad Waterford were last week, or even how bad Cork were against Clare. And maybe, Aaron Gillan and Keane Lynch and a couple more have been missing when they played Limerick, and Gerard Hegarty getting sent off. But you have to give Clare massive credit. They ended up topping the Munster group, albeit on score difference, after, an indifferent enough kind of a league. Like, it's been an unbelievable 5 or 6 weeks. And as we said there, like, they're just carrying on that momentum. It's still rolling along now. See, the Munster final is sold out already. 11,000 terrace tickets gone in 11 minutes this morning. I know there's Bruce Springsteen tickets going on sale, but I don't think they go on sale or go as quick as them. Like, it's unbelievable what's going on in Clare at the moment and how quickly it's all turned.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say how quickly it's all turned, Mike. You know, like I could sense from any of the players that spoke after last year how happy they were with Brian Lohan and how they were really buying into what he was trying to do in Clare. And I suppose the big thing was was he or wasn't he going to stay? You know, with regards to the county board. So I don't think it's a massive shock. I think Brian is building something really, really big, really strong. You know, and he has the panel now to do that, and he's after finding a couple of very, very nice players as well through the league process as well. So, look, I think, you know, having Clare back at the top table is only good for hurling. You know, you see the passion they bring, you see their supporters, you see the atmosphere Cusack Park has when it's full to capacity. You know, so definitely, I don't see it as a major surprise. Someone of Brian's caliber, and for everything that he done in the game, it was only a matter of time before all this kind of drip fed into the players that's under him, and we're certainly seeing that. And I think this Clare team is going to be around for a while, and it's only going to get stronger as the year progresses and as the next couple of years progress as well.
Okay, we'll continue this chat. We're just going to patreon.com/OurGame. Only takes about 30 seconds to sign up. We'll continue our chat there.
See the full show at patreon.com/OurGame.